Most people are watching their crypto portfolio bleed and waiting for prices to recover. I'm not waiting. Right here, right now, my DeFi Flywheel system is generating yield. And in today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how yours can do the same. I'm talking about a real running system where I use Aave in conjunction with Uniswap as well as GMX to buy assets on the way down and acquire more assets while simultaneously generating cash flow. I'm going to break down every layer, like how yield is generated, how I would size it. But before we dive into this video, I am hosting a free workshop this week where I'm going to show you exactly how you can build this system in your own portfolio. It takes about 5 seconds to register and put your name on the list. Links at the top of the description. So my company coined the term DeFi Flywheel, and today I want to show you exactly how that works in a bear market. A flywheel is essentially acquiring more assets without actually having to inject more cash to acquire those. So this could be a very, very simple flywheel, or maybe you have one bucket like a liquidity pool, and this liquidity pool produces income in which you just compound. Now, historically, this does not work over a longer period of time because the yield that you compound is now exposed to impermanent loss. And then, of course, that can cause you to actually lose assets, which is the opposite of acquiring more assets. Another way could be reallocating that yield strategically. So one of the things I did in the bull market was I took my LP and then I parked my yield from my LP into lending and borrowing positions, or specifically lending positions. And then I would borrow against those lending positions and then use that for some other strategy over here. Again, a little bit more of an advanced flywheel. This requires a little bit of leverage and a little bit of risk taking, which I was comfortable with during the bull market. And then I want to talk about what I'm currently doing in the bear market. So don't get me wrong, I still have some LPs that are funding and fueling these lending and borrowing positions, and then I'm borrowing against these lending positions, right? But this borrow is actually going into crypto stable liquidity pools over here. And the reason why it's going into crypto stable liquidity pools is because these have a very, very unique mechanism. Now, in a bull market, these aren't really as logical to run because they sell you on the way up, unless, of course, you are selling towards the end of the market. But in a bear market, what they do is they buy you on the way down. So if we're expecting the market to continue to fall, what's going to happen is the stable coins are going to go right into the crypto. If we have, let's just say, a total of 10K in stable coins and we have a total of 10K in crypto, well, as the market moves down, it's going to start to shift. This 10K is going to start to go to 8 and then 6 and then 4 and then so on and so forth, right? While the capital is being reallocated over to the crypto. Now, granted, you're still going to have less than 20K that you started with because the crypto market is moving down. But what this is effectively doing is dollar cost averaging you. And the beauty of this is you're not bringing in any new capital. You are acquiring more crypto assets because you are running a borrow strategy over here. Now, really, there's a lot of different ways that you can run the borrow. You can run it in terms of USD, which I do a little bit of in my portfolio, or you can run it in terms of borrowing the crypto asset, like borrowing ETH, borrowing, let's just say Bitcoin or something along those lines, and running the exact strategy. Now, there's pros and cons to each. But over here, this crypto stable, not only does it buy you crypto on the way down, it generates yield. And what can you do with that yield? Well, number one, you can take it as cash flow. This is what a lot of people do in times like these, just kind of supplement their additional income. Another thing that you can do is you can actually use it to repay your borrowing cost. So that way you pay less and less interest over time and you're slowly chucking away at that loan that you took out to help your overall health of the position. Another thing that you can do is you can go and you can actually increase your collateral on the lending market. Once again, that helps with the health of your position over here. You can also reallocate that income to LP, right? Again, so many different things that you can do. All of these are part of the flywheel. But the basis is you are acquiring more assets. And in this case, it doesn't even take yield to acquire more assets. All it takes is the market to move down because then the stablecoin fuels the crypto asset and builds a position in that. Now in my workshop, I'm going to be covering this a little bit more in depth and kind of how this ties into our overall GPS system that we've crafted. But I want to very quickly show you what I'm doing over on Aave. So this is metrics. It tracks your portfolio across like lending and borrowing as well as liquidity pools and stuff like that. But my net worth on Aave is currently $42,000. I am supplying $62,000 right now and borrowing $20,000 or a little over $20,000. Now, how these lending markets work is you have no set payments, right? You just borrow an amount and you pay it back when you're ready to pay it back. but you accumulate interest as well. So I started by borrowing 20K. Now my borrow is 20.2K because I've accumulated some interest over time. Nonetheless, my health factor is still 2.42%. And when we look over here, I am supplying some Aave token, supplying some Link token, some CBBTC, some Uni, some wrapped Bitcoin, some wrapped EtherFi ETH, some wrapped staked ETH, right? And I'm borrowing Go, which is a stable coin. And the reason why I'm borrowing Go as opposed to USDC is because it has a lower interest rate historically. Go is currently at 3.5% to borrow. Now, the beauty of this strategy is if the market moves down, I'm safe because my LTV is literally 34%. We can drop another 20, 30, 40%, and my positions would still be completely fine without being liquidated. So the first thing I did is I took 10K of the borrowed Go as well as 2K of my own USDC, and I converted it all into USDC as well as Ethereum and Bitcoin. But that converted amount I stuck into ETH to USDC as well as wrapped Bitcoin to USDC. Now, what these do is these buy assets on the way down, sell them on the way up. And what I want you to pay attention to is the US dollar value. You'll see this ETH position lost $1,100 right here, or 18%. Now, on paper, a lot of people would fret. They'd run away. They'd say, Jake, your strategies don't work. I lost money. We even have some clients that think that way. But the way that I think is in terms of Bitcoin, Ethereum. And when we look at how much Ethereum I profited over here, I actually profited 0.213 Ethereum. Not to mention, I accumulated a lot more Ethereum. That's just my profit in Ethereum terms. So take a look down here, right? You'll see that we started with 47% USDC and 53% Ethereum in this position. Well, by the time that the market moved down and we went below our range, we have 0% USDC and 100% Ethereum, which means that we essentially shifted all out of USDC into Ethereum. In other words, 2817 USDC was converted to 0.985 Ethereum. So that's the accumulated Ethereum. That's the amount of Ethereum that we actually bought from this position basically by just dollar cost averaging. So we've acquired more Ethereum, we've acquired more assets, but in addition to that, we've also generated yield, which is $290, which is what helps us profit in Ethereum over here. What happened since this position went out of range? We're no longer generating yield. What I did is essentially the complete opposite of what most people do. You see, most investors would have said, I'm out of range, I need to get back in range, and I'm all in Ethereum right now. Well, what I'll do is I'll sell some of my Ethereum for USDC. What they essentially do when they sell their Ethereum for some USDC just to get back in range or execute a rebalance is they bought Ethereum high and then they sold it low, right? So they're buying high and then selling low. It doesn't really make sense, does it, right? All to generate a little bit of yield. But me, I'm taking all of this Ethereum and I'm just parking it over on Aave. So when we look over at Aave at my Ethereum positions, you'll see I have EtherFi Ethereum as well as Lido staked Ethereum. The Lido staked Ethereum is the allocation that I received from exiting this pool and just converting it to staked ETH. So I decided to separate it into two derivatives of Ethereum. That way I can properly track what's actually happening to this capital just by looking at it. But this right here all came from this single position. Now, what that does is that increases my collateral, which decreases my LTV, which increases my health factor, and provides me with greater health. And when this Ethereum goes to the initial entry price that I actually borrowed and executed this position over at, I will not be at a break even like most people. I will be at a profit because I acquired more assets along the way and I had yield in addition to that. And I did the same thing over here with wrapped Bitcoin to USDC. You'll see I profited 0.0049 Bitcoin. Now, obviously, this does not look like a lot, but again, it's just because Bitcoin has such a high value and this was a $6,000 position. But you'll see I started with 52% wrapped Bitcoin and 48% USDC, ended up with all of the money in wrapped Bitcoin. 2850 USDC was converted to 0.033 wrapped Bitcoin. And we also had a little bit of yield over here. And then, of course, when we went out of range, once again, instead of essentially selling low after we bought high, we took that Bitcoin and we parked it over on Aave as, in this case, CBBTC, basically, which is the $4,900 that you see right here. So again, helps the overall LTV and health factor. Now that was 10K of the borrow plus 2K of my own money, split evenly, 6K and 6K per position. I found better results with the Ethereum one, and I also kind of prefer Ethereum. So going forward, I would run it with Ethereum. Now next, I also have GMX. Over on GMX, they have these kind of counterparty vaults. They function very, very similar to how a Uniswap V2 pool would work, basically. And the cool thing is, these earn fees from traders trading on the platform, basically. And there's a lot of different fees that you get when trading on GMX, just like any perpetual platform. It's about 15% per year in fees, as opposed to like 30 to 40% on the ETH to USDC and wrap Bitcoin to USDC over on like Uniswap or something. But it's also exposed to traders' wins and losses, which can be a good thing and a bad thing. Here's the thing. When the market is going up, I think we all know it's a little bit easy to make money. People get cocky, and then market starts to go down. They think they're a professional trader, and they end up losing money. Because historically, when the market starts to go down, traders are not as profitable because you can make money on the way down. It's just harder than making it on the way up. So whenever traders are actually losing their trades, this vault or this pool is exposed to those losses in a sense where they come to us as gains because we are the counterparty. That means if they win their trades, we're paying them out. They lose their trades, they're paying us out basically. So in addition to the fees, we also get that exposure, which is exactly why the price over here hasn't fallen too much. You can see we've gone from $2.84 to $2.25. Not to mention this is half Bitcoin exposure and half USDC exposure as well, so it helps mitigate our overall market risk. But same thing happens. On the way down, it's essentially buying Bitcoin. On the way up, it's essentially selling Bitcoin. And I have not only the Bitcoin to USD one, I also have the Ethereum to USD one as well. And that's what I'm doing with the other 10K I have to borrow. Once again, I split those equally. They're not doing insanely horrible either. They're actually performing a little bit better than the concentrated pools that I ran earlier. Now, this is the exact system in its simplest form that I'm using right now to protect and preserve my capital in the current markets. If you guys want to see the full build and see exactly how every single piece can come together, position sizing, asset allocations, which ones we're actually going to invest into, that's what I'm covering on my crypto activation workshop in a couple days. Once again, the link is going to be at the top of the description. It takes about 30 seconds to actually RSVP and put your name on the list, and I really hope to see you guys there. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, subscribe. Peace out.